Hey folks, welcome to the show. Episode 67, St Kilda VS Collingwood review. So it was an epic game. Footy is back at the G. And by God, we missed it. Bumper crowd. I think this is a message to the AFL as well, that you need to have a game at the MCG, especially in the first round of the year. I think it should go back to just round one and you have all the teams play. The first game of the year should just always be at the MCG. Just like the last game is at the MCG. It's a great oval. The crowds are massive. It just gives everyone that feeling of footy is finally back. That's my 2 cents on that one. But we had a great game, folks. Let's talk about the scoreline. Who won the game? So St Kilda kicked 9 goals, 66 points to Collingwood's 11 goals and 12 behinds, equaling 78 points. 12-point winners, folks, to the Pies. They just prove everyone again that they're still not the old Pies and they're still good enough to come back and win their first game. I remember last year there was criticism of not winning their first game, and then they come back and then absolutely smash my team. We won't get into that, folks. That's last year. But on a serious note, we're going to talk about St Kilda's goals. Owens 2, Sharman 2, Hall, Higgins, Hill, Ryan, Wanganeen, Malera, single goals apiece. To Collingwood's, DeGoey 3, Schultz 2, Macquarie 2, Cameron, Elliott, McStay, Still, single goals apiece. For the best players on the field, we're going to start with St Kilda. And their best player was Sinclair, Flanders, Wanganeen, Malera, Owens, Silvani. To back that up, we have Collingwood's best players, and it's Josh Dacos, followed by Nick Dacos. The two brothers at it. Along with their veteran, absolute peak form for a veteran, we got Pendlebury, folks. Cameron, DeGoey, and Schultz rounding off the best players. You could arguably put a lot of other best players in there. We'll get to that in a second. Injuries, Marshall had concussion just with a knee knock to the back of the head through, I think, the third quarter. Collingwood, no injuries, which is a good thing from Collingwood's aspect, coming off the pre-season with a few stars that still aren't in the side at the moment. The crowd, as I just mentioned, bumper crowd, 82,528 at the MCG. Just there's nothing like the MCG atmosphere. We'll be there for the Adelaide and Richmond game coming up later in the year. So, yeah, epic game. I'm looking forward to it. But we'll start with the first quarter. It was St Kilda 2 goals 4 to Collingwood's 4 goals 3. St Kilda had a lot of repeat inside 50s to start with. They kicked a couple behinds. Collingwood went down back to their end, rebounding off the half back with Houston, Dacos, Perryman when he was there at stages, and we'll talk about his role in a minute. And yeah, St Kilda just not capitalising where Collingwood did early just to get that little buffer to 2 goals 4 for St Kilda. Collingwood's 4 goals 3. Dacos was on it early. He just had the ball on a string. That man, you play this man, I know he's hard to run on. You're going to need a fit guy to run in him. He is just too damaging. We'll get to how many disposals he had in a second. But from, early in the game, it really was Collingwood just using the ball well, and just every time they didn't take much to score with, but St Kilda had a lot of the ball, so St Kilda were very good with their new midfielders like Flanders, who struggled a bit but still got enough of the ball. Your Flanders, Wanganeen, Malera early sort of struggled to get back into the game, but was still alright. You had sorry, just had a there we go. Just waited for it to load up. So yeah, you obviously had Sinclair as well running through there. Hall, who was good. Winghager and Darcy Wilson as well. So there's a mixture of players. Also Philippou Mateus, so he was running through there at times. So that was a bit of a new look midfield for St Kilda. I thought Winghager was really good at times. I thought he had a great pre-season. I thought he's coming through there really well. Look, Flanders struggled, but still got a bit of the ball. They just didn't have anyone to play on Dacos, whether they should have maybe moved Winghager over to him and just let him run on him. While sort of Perryman was playing on Wangani Malira, and sort of somewhat of a tag. He was sort of obviously started at half-back, so then they were playing a defensive role on him. Then, they tried to run him through the midfield. Perryman was just following him sort of mostly across the ground. Didn't have the impact that he needed. Just from a review early of the match, we'll go through from the start to finish. St Kilda, was well structured at points, but their ball use just wasn't as good as Collingwood's. So they had like a lot of repeat inside 50s and just couldn't quite sort of clunk them with the scoreline. If you look at who kicked the goals, obviously Owens was good, Sharman, but they still needed, Rowan Marshall to start kicking a couple goals. He just didn't quite perform as well. I thought it was a very good team effort by Collingwood. Then once they got back into the game, so at half time it was 5 goals, 7 for St Kilda to 5 goals, 5 for Collingwood. So St Kilda had a lot of the ball. Would have been better if they went in at 7 goals, 5. Collingwood made it hard, so a lot of their shots were more on the flanks and out wide. So they'd make them sort of run. They weren't kicking central to their spot. So Tom De Koning in the ruck versus Darcy Cameron was an interesting battle too. I thought they were both equally good at certain points of the game. We'll quickly just talk about the hit-out situation now while we've got it up. So from a hit-out aspect, it was Darcy Cameron with 20, Tom De Koning with 17, Rowan Marshall with 8, Cooper Sharma with 2, Mitch Always, Dan McStay with 1. So Darcy Cameron really just carrying the whole load of the ruck for Collingwood. I think that's an outstanding effort by him. He did move really well for a ruckman. How many marks did both of them? Because I feel like Tom De Koning finished off with a few good marks. Just looking it up now, folks. De Koning had 6 to Cameron's 5. So they're both working around the ground quite good. For that, I thought it was quite an equal battle for the ruck. I thought De Koning got around the ground just as good. Cameron, I think, kicked the goal as well, where De Koning, I don't think, did. So, Cameron kicked 1 goal. De Koning, didn't score. So, but I was expecting that though. Rowan Marshall was going to be that key forward. Owens as well. He's gonna step up into more of that role. Also with the new players down back for St Kilda, Silvani coming over from the Blues. Just trying to find it here, folks. I thought he was really good. We've got the stat here somewhere with him. Silvani filled the key defensive role. obviously without Dougal Howard, so I thought he was quite good. They did have a thing about his stats here, just trying to find it, folks. But yeah, he marked the ball well. I thought he used the ball quite well. He had 9 intercepts, here we go, from Jack Silvani. And also, Callum Wilkie had 9 intercepts as well, 2 contested marks. And then off the half back for St Kilda, Jack Sinclair had 35 disposals. But he was also playing through the middle more as well, and 7 intercepts. So he played that mixed role. You know, him and Malira can switch off the half back. So, he racked up. You could look at it, I think Jack Sinclair probably was St Kilda's best player on the day. Wilkie, coming off that corked calf, still performed quite well. Enjoying having Silvani down there as a defensive role. But from Collingwood's aspect, Bo McCleary had 16 disposals and 2 goals as he was running off that half forward, giving him that high half forward, that running sort of chain link in play. He might only have 16 disposals, but those 16 disposals are very important disposals. He just breaks into that open speed. Along with Patrick Lipinski, they just opened up their flanks for both the sides. Lipinski also at times running through when he could. He just looked great. But yeah, Wanganeen Malira struggled, 19 disposals and 1 goal as he was shifted to the half back at points of the game, coming through the middle, just trying to shake off that tag. But for Collingwood, I think both the Dacos brothers were really good. We'll just talk about Nick. I thought Nick was just outstanding. That just had no run with player. Do you have to just teams? Can you just get someone to tag this guy? If you're going to play Collingwood, it's no disrespect at all to Nick Dacos. He's obviously an absolute superstar. You have to somewhat nullify this man. You can't let him have 41 disposals, 840 meters gained. He almost had 1,000 meters gained. Okay, that's the game right there. You want to actually win. You need to keep this man to at least 35 disposals and at least cap his run to at least 600 meters. You don't want him to have another 244 meters on top of that. Even if you could stop him at 500 meters and 30 disposals, that's going to win you the game. Absolutely, because his brother Josh Dacos, he had 36 disposals, 13 marks. He was just running on that half back well. He was just a defensive great player. Not only that, Houston was great as well. I thought it was Houston's probably best game for Collingwood. I thought he was back to Port Adelaide's Houston. I thought he was, and trust me, I know that he is a good player for Port Adelaide. Still upset he left to Collingwood. There's no doubt about that. But for you guys, Collingwood, he was great. He's back to that form. It looks like he's had another preseason to slot in with that side. Perryman just playing a selfless role, playing on Wanganeen Malira. He was great. To the tools, McStay only kicked the 1 goal. Buller, he didn't kick any, but it's his first game. I thought he was great. He just impacted the game. And I was critical on Collingwood's tools. Once again, it was their smalls that kicked the goals. Like the goalie with 3, Schultz 2, McCreary 2. So they rely a lot on their small players. So Collingwood have really good small forwards where if they just make a contest, all Buller has to do is just bring the ball to the ground. Let the little smalls do their job, along with McStay. So, yes, they don't have the best key tall players, but they only have to be good enough to get the ball to the ground, which in this game they did. Let's see how they go against a better defensive side too. So I think they're still great defensive side, but still St Kilda still lack, I think, that really big key tool. We'll just look at the lineup. You got Cameron Eadie, Wilkie, Silvani, Taru, really good tools, but when you look at their sizes, Taru, he's still becoming a big guy, but he's 193 centimeters, still a good centre-half back size, but he's not, Cameron Eadie, he's a little bit bigger. He's standing at 196 centimeters, but he doesn't have the frame of maybe a bit of a bigger player, but still, learning his craft there. I'm happy with that. Callum Wilkie, Silvani, Callum Wilkie, 191 centimeters. So he's still that centre half back size. They just needed that bigger player to play as well. He had Memory that played quite well, the smaller sort of size. So Silvani 194. So really good centre half back sizes, but they just don't have Cameron Eadie's got to turn himself into that clunking fullback just to shut down McStay. Maybe not let him have the impact that he had when he didn't have a big game, and also Buller didn't have the biggest game. But yeah, they just, if they can, you need to play the side and stop those tools completely. Let them have no impact. You got to shut down, obviously, Collingwood's small forwards. You need to play a lockdown role. You can't let Beau McCreary run on the outside and have that speed. Lipinski, Elliott, they all have that ability. And also De Gaulle with that explosive sort of speed. He was great. Steele, Parker, Allen. So a lot of Collingwood's newer, younger players played a great game too. Allen's slotted in very nicely. Steele as well. Parker, just solid. But to me, it's Collingwood's defensive lineup's great. Frampton, they don't have Darcy Moore back yet, which will be a clunking fullback for him. Frampton is also that clunking fullback. I mean, you can play Moore as a centre-half back if you need to. That's how good they are. You got Perryman, you got Houston, you got Braden Maynard, who's just a rough nut, who's just going to play on whoever he needs to play on. They stopped Jack Higgins. Jack Higgins had no impact to the game. He's probably St Kilda's best forward line player, and had a great year last year. So I thought from that aspect, Higgins did not stand up in this big game. Philippou was better. Boxall, he was okay. Really, Owens, Sharman were probably the better forward line players for him. So that's, to me, one part of the game that they just struggled a bit, scoring. And yeah, Marshall needs to be that full forward. He's going to have to kick 3 goals. They're going to want to beat the good sides. Marshall's going to have to step up, kick 3 goals at least. At least. Then they're going to have Owens chip in, Boxall. Higgins he's going to need to hit the scoreboard too. They rely so much on him. Maybe they could play another tool in that forward line to bring the ball to the ground to Philippou, Boxall. Boxall and Hall, they play that half forward role. They're just, they're under the 190 centimeters mark. So, yeah, look, Cripps was good through there. McRae, Carroll, Liam Ryan for his first game for, I thought Liam Ryan was really good. I thought he had more impact than Higgins. Absolutely kicked a nice goal. Also, the one that doesn't get enough credit off the halfback. The halfback's so good for Collingwood is Quaynor. Quaynor was brilliant. Just try to bring up the stats for him too. I think they had a thing here for his stats. Let me just bring that up. So that just trying to look it up, folks. I did have it somewhere here. But yeah, maybe not. I'll just go to his players' stats. Just give me 1 second, folks, because we're going to just bring up. He had a lot of marks for a halfback. So, to me, St Kilda were just bombing it a bit and just kicking to space where Collingwood were. So, yeah, Quaynor had 11 marks, folks. He finished with 23 disposals, 15 kicks across that halfback line. Just looked really good. But yeah, for Houston had 600 metres gained, along with Josh Dacos's 400, so 1,000 apiece between them. Not only that, Braden Maynard had 400 metres gained. So for That's 1,400 meters gained by just the 3 halfbacks. So, yeah, that's amazing. A stat there. That just says it all. So that's Collingwood's game as well. You need to shut down that run off the halfback. You need to shut down obviously Nick Dacos's meters gained as well. So like 844. So like there you go, folks. Like that just says it all. But yeah, Bradley Hill had 706 meters gained, so quite good that amount of runs. So yeah, Flanders still had 505, so you used the ball a bit. It's just crazy amount of there. So like, you know, Wanganeen-Malera only had 374, so you can see the impact between, say, a Nick Dacos and Wanganeen-Malera, the meters gained aspect from there. Clearances, Dacos only had the 4, but like it was a pretty tight contest. Taconian had 4, Garcia had 5 for St Kilda. But yeah, Scott Pendlebury, just an absolute masterclass by him for his age as well. Closing in on the most games played. He's equal second on the most games played now of Michael Tuck's record. So look, he's going to break it, and he's going to be arguably one of the greatest players of the game. And such an underrated player, like what he does, it's not recognised enough, especially at his age. Like, you got to give the man credit. He's an amazing player. And to be going at this sort of age, as well as still side bottom. I think I've covered them all pretty good. That's the stats, folks. As a we'll just double check just a review of the game as well. We'll just make sure we add in everything. The last part of the game, you could just see St Kilda ran out of legs. Collingwood just had that enough leg speed. I thought in the last 5 to 10 minutes, especially go to the last 10 minutes, I thought St Kilda, when they got the ball, they just kept kicking it in the space where the Collingwood halfbacks were. Quaynor racked up marks. Houston racked up a few marks. Frampton, when he needed to, did. And it just was coached very well. I think McRae did an amazing job going in there and stopping that run. I think St Kilda just really ran out of legs, didn't use the ball smart enough in the last 10 minutes. They needed to maybe just a bit more composure. When they got the ball, just hold on to it a bit more and let their players run in. They're going to have to work harder. So, fitness level, from St Kilda's aspect, they just got done in the last 5 to 10 minutes. It's the first game of the year. Are they going to get better? Absolutely. They're going to get so much fitter from that. Are Collingwood going to get more fitter? Absolutely. I think both sides will learn from that aspect. I think Ross Lyon will learn from a coaching aspect a bit of just that, what I mentioned there, just settle down a bit, let the players get into positions a bit better. They did lose Rowan Marshall due to concussion, so they didn't have that tool target to kick to. That was one part of the game that they struggled. They were kicking down there like they had a tool target, which they didn't. So that being said, they need to fix that. Collingwood, they just did what they normally do. Collingwood played a great game. They ran harder in that last 5 to 10 minutes. They used the ball better. When they used it, they kicked it into open space. It was a free-flowing game, pinging across the ground both ways. And when you get into a shootout with Collingwood, they're going to make you run on the outside. They are going to try run and gun type footy. So they're going to tire teams out. They are a fit team. Even though a lot of their players didn't have had interrupted pre-season, this shows you how fit they are. So for other teams that are playing, you're going to have to pick up the fitness. You're going to have to run. You're going to have to carry. You're going to just want the ball more. You're going to have to want to stop your opponent. That's a message to the Crows. They're playing Collingwood this week. You just got to run, stop their run, and make your own run. For St Kilda, they're going to have Marshall out, obviously with concussion, so it's going to be finding that tool target up forward. Get Higgins in the game, bring the ball down to them, turn that run into, you could almost use Collingwood's game plan in that forward line. So they're the key aspects of the game that could be fixed by both sides. The add-ons, where they got things wrong a little bit. It was a great game of football. On to next week, folks. It's proper round one. We got the full amount of teams playing. It's exciting. My team's back. Everyone's team's back. And that's what matters, folks. Enjoy the week. And we'll get on to round one's preview. I might add a little podcast in between there and talk a little bit about what the AFL could fix with opening round. And please like and subscribe. Thank you. Cheers.